Okay, here we go. How to meal prep like a pro for when you're on the road. So today we're going to be doing ground beef and sweet potato, of course, in the glass containers. So the first step is you need a scale. You need to know how much food you actually have so you can track. If you're not tracking, you're slacking. Of course, always in glass containers, never plastic. Plastic top's fine, but not bottom. Always use non-plastic spatulas and utensils and all that because we don't want microplastics in our food. And, let's get started. So the first steps, all the potatoes are roughly around the same weight. Not a big deal. I just picked like 6 of the same weights. I personally like to peel all my sweet potatoes and cut them up into cubes. You can do however you want. You could bake them. The reason you don't want the skin though is because that's where all the pesticides are and all that, which will lower and disrupt your hormones. So we can peel all of them like this and then cut the ends off once we are done like this. Now obviously you want to get rid of all this skin and clean it on up. There we go. Once it's cleaned up, we just want to grab a nice cutting board. Again, no plastic cutting boards. We want wood. Then we'll grab a little pot to throw all the sweet potato in. And again, I personally like to cut them all up into cubes, almost like breakfast hash brown style. That's what I like personally. So what I do is I cut each potato like that and then cut them into little squares. But again, up to your preference. This is just a meal idea and how to meal prep. I like to put all of my sweet potato in beef tallow. It's a great way to cook them. You really only want to be using ghee, beef tallow, olive oil, coconut oil, maybe avocado oil if it's a good one. And that's pretty much it. Then we love to add cinnamon on top as well. I personally like to air fry the sweet potato. Again, you can do it in the oven however you want. I find the air fryer is the best. But again, this isn't really a cooking video. It's more of how to meal prep. So just cooking in big batches. You can put it into the little sheet there, throw it into the air fryer, and cook her on up. I have to do about 3 loads of the sweet potato. Now let's get to the beef. So the beef, I cook 2 at a time. There's 6 different meals, so it's about 3 different times I gotta cook them. Hopefully you have a bigger cast iron than me. But again, you want to avoid any non-stick pans. Just stick to stainless steel and cast iron as you don't want any forever chemicals in your body. A little tip too is let each side get a little bit well done and then break it up, give it a little bit of char and a little bit of taste. And then you can salt it up. I use this real salt here, Redmond sea salt. And yeah, once it's a little bit cooked, just keep on flipping until it's all cooked. If you know the farmer and it's a really good beef, you could leave it a little bit rare a little bit. I like to do that. It's up to you in your preference, just because then when you reheat it, then it's not well done. But it's up to you and the quality of ground beef that you have. Then you can go fill up all your glass containers here with your nice ground beef. You can add the fat if you want. Obviously don't put that fat down the sink as it will clog your sink. And then here we just want to weigh. So you get one of the empty containers, zero it out, and then you can throw both of the containers on and then kind of just take the average. It's not that big of a deal. Just so then every time you grab one of these meal preps, you know exactly how much, beef and sweet potato you have. And then you just want to save this number too. So then when we add the sweet potato on top, like we are now, you can then put it on top and see how much sweet potato. There you go. So about 200, and then the other one around the same. So call it 180. You know what I mean? And then you just kind of guesstimate a little bit. Then that way now you know how much beef and how much sweet potatoes roughly in each one. And then that way again it saves you having to weigh it each time, and especially when you're on the road, you can't weigh it. And you can close that, do that 3 times over, and then by that point you will have all of your meals. And you can close them all up, get them all ready, so then when you're good to go, you can go. Reminder with the beef, you only want to keep cooked beef in for about 3 to 4 days. So this might be a little bit overkill, unless you're having beef twice a day. But again, this isn't about making a specific meal, just about how to meal prep. And I hope you found some value.